Hey, last time I checked in, we were just arriving Walvis Bay, Namibia on Brick House. And now I want to give you an update. Sorry it's been so long. Life has been all encompassing getting across this ocean. So just want to give you an update. So here we go. Walvis Bay was a pretty bumpy anchorage. Wind came through there on a regular basis. We had wet dinghy rides to and from shore. It was always very, very bouncy, as was our relationship. We did have some fun in Walvis Bay. A highlight, of course, was going to Etosha National Park. I'd been there a couple years ago and really loved it. But this time was different. I was here with Michael. It was extremely wet season, and still it was full of life and wonder. We were both very determined to enjoy Namibia despite any relationship problems we may have been having. We had sailed a long ways to get here and may never be back here again. After a month in Namibia, it was time to prepare for the crossing to Ascension Island.
Through, and then through again. And then just for good measure, one more time.
3 times, yeah.
3 times through the loop.
Just make sure that, there you go, that they're not overwound. They must be, so you can see on your...
That's it.
So that's the front, and that's the back.
Yeah.
So then, when you fall down on it, it goes like that.
It locks.
And then as you're going up the mast, as you get pulled up, you just slide it, slide it, slide it.
And hang on it now. There you go.
And then as
Takes
you're
your
coming
weight.
down, slide it, slide it, slide it, slide it.
Use the tools available and don't doubt them.
What I doubt is this right here.
Yeah.
We've already been told Dyneema has no UV properties, so it's just
Yeah, I
rotting
know.
in the sun
It's a
right
good
now.
thing it's only 2 months old.
Yeah. But when we forget about the UV properties in 2 years and we're used to doing it this way, I'll be glad that I'm hanging on my Prusik knot.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time to go down before my legs are totally and completely asleep. So I take this thing here and I just slide it down and it catches me should I fall. So we got water, food, got rid of garbage, going to take my last final showers. Can you tell I haven't showered for like, I don't know, a week? Definitely need to brush my hair, brush my teeth, and wash my body. Probably brush my body.
Well, you start carrying and I'll film you.
Are you carrying anything?
Yeah.
Or am I carrying it all?
No, I'll see if I can handle a little bit of something
Why
here.
don't you take the bag of feathers?
See what I got to deal with on a daily basis.
I had really wanted to find someone who didn't want to just sail to the Caribbean and then fly home. I secretly, or maybe not so secretly, wanted to find someone to sail with forever. But at this point, we were getting along so badly, it was almost like one of us wanted to take off in the dinghy and the other wanted to take off in the boat. So we set course northwest and off we went. Into the sunset. Michael and I certainly have very differing opinions on many things, but I'm hugely impressed that for both of us, our personal safety and the seaworthiness of the boat was always of paramount importance, even during the worst bumps and drama in our relationship. We both had started this journey with such high hopes, and at this point, the stress, the tight living quarters, my own mourning process, and so much more was putting huge strain on our still young relationship. I wasn't so much comparing Michael to Patrick, but something actually quite bigger. I was comparing my everyday life as well as my future life to mine with Patrick. And even bigger, I was concerned about nothing else besides my boat. Not my own physical or mental health, not Michael's health either. It was all about my boat. Nothing else seemed important at all. Remember this point for future episodes. So we both sailed off into the sunset, our relationship very much on the rocks. Already at this point, we were both thinking that quite possibly our relationship would be over in Grenada if we even managed to make it that far. We still had 4,800 miles to go, and stops along the way to survive. We actually got along better at sea than on land. When he was asleep and off watch, I enjoyed the boat and ocean to myself. When I was off watch, he enjoyed the same kind of peace and joy. But sadly, I seem to be in a pattern now of finding fault with everything Michael did. I'm not even sure why I was in such a negative space, but I had searched far and wide for every last fault with Michael that I could
Just tell
find.
me what.
Things broke along the way, namely the sea frost refrigeration, and we were forced to work together if we wanted to save our food and continue eating. I gained a lot of confidence in my own abilities, but I did little to make Michael feel anything positive about himself or about me.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. So you want to just tell everyone what's going on in here?
Just troubleshooting the refrigeration. I'm pretty sure it's the fan's not running, so the compressor's not running. So we have to change out for a new fan and see if that works. So I found the new fan. Now I've got to put everything back in the back part of the bed so that I can get to the front part of the bed to get the print tools and the attachment tools. And this is after 7 hours of being awake with liquid under the engine, fans not running, reprogramming refrigerators and freezers, and trying to figure out how to stop the prop shaft from turning. So I'm not exactly in the best mood. It became a pattern of landing at each place, each port, and our relationship really falling apart at every seam at each port. It became difficult with Michael. When to do something, when not to do something, why to do things, from laundry to the dinghy to what I do for dinner or what fun or how much to spend and who to hang out with. Everything became a struggle. I cried so often about Patrick not being able to enjoy Namibia, St Helena, Ascension, the Caribbean. It felt like every dent or bang to the boat that I was abusing the perfect gift that Patrick had left for me. There was so much stress and tension between Michael and I that by the time we got to St Helena, which I'll tell you about in a minute, everything was mostly caused by me. It's nothing short of a miracle that he didn't just fly back to South Africa. What I really love about being at sea on a really long passage like this is that there's no rush. You know, you put up the sails, you put them up conservatively, there's no reason to rush. The southeast trades would just blow and blow and blow for days, so there was just really no rush to go any faster. Plus, we didn't want to get to St Helena and be right in that neck of the woods before April 1st, so we just took it nice and easy. Day after day, night after night, I think we maybe brought in the staysail and the headsail a few inches, let them out a few inches, took them in a few inches, and then let them out a few inches. The monitor wind vane steered the whole way. The sails just carried us through the water. Nothing like crossing an entire ocean and not even using any fuel. Not even using any water. Just sailing along, taking our watches, eating good food, reading good books, and yeah, once in a while we got along and had a nice conversation. So 2 or 3 days south of St Helena, we got word from a catamaran passing us by that St Helena was now open as of April 1st. We were beyond excited. We had dreamt of going to St Helena for so many years, and here it was, opening up just for us. So we started sailing a whole lot slower. We knew that it was going to be 14 days quarantine, including our time at sea. So there was absolutely no rush to get there. So we sailed slowly, and we just looked forward to arriving into St Helena. We just couldn't believe our luck. Just 2 or 3 days south of St Helena, and they were opening it up for the first time in months. I'm telling you, sometimes the sea gods just smile down upon us. You know, in the 50,000 or so miles behind us, there was always bad sailing, good sailing, and everything in between. But this passage really is the nicest passage. As we neared St Helena, I knew it would be another difficult stop for us to weather. We would have difficulty living together, and very probably I would drive Michael to leave the boat for good. And that would not be good for either one of us. But we both so much wanted to see St Helena, and the sea gods had just given us the perfect opportunity to stop and see this fabled island. How could we not stop? How could we keep going? So we took a mooring, seemingly one of the best in the world, and we began the process of doing whatever officialdom asked us to do to make sure that we could visit St. Helena. We will just make this relationship work, make this island work, and we will enjoy it. Period. So that little yellow boat is taking around the nurses and the officials in hazmat suits to begin our COVID tests. They picked a hell of a day to do it. The wind was whipping, the current was against the wind, so it was very bouncy, and coming up alongside the boats was no small challenge. So here we go again. I'm in a bad mood, and Michael's playing nice music, and he's made me a nice dinner, trying to cheer me up, trying to keep me healthy. And do I like the food? What a freaking bitch. Anyways, I don't know why I was in such a bad mood. I was just still trying to find fault with every little thing that he did, and he never stopped trying to make things nice. Can't get over how cranky I was. We did get some news the next morning that did put me in a better mood. Yay, we finally get to take down the quarantine flag. We are free to roam after how long? After a 10 or 11 day passage to get here, and then 3 or 4 more days for quarantine to settle and get our COVID tests, which we were both negative. We had to do it ourselves. We had to stick the frickin' swab up our own noses. Anyways, wasn't so bad. So now I'm taking down the quarantine flag. Yay! Here it comes. Woohoo! Oh my goodness. What is this? Tie a knot or tie a lot, Michael, huh? I don't even know what to do with this. What do I do with this?
Okay, why don't you go and stow the flag and let the knot...
There we go.
There you go.
46, 147, 148, 149, 150. Oh. World's record is 8 minutes, and I've taken 8 minutes to get to 150.
Well, that was quite a climb. I made it, but hell, my legs are like rubber. It's a lot steeper than it looks, and after a few months away from my regular hikes up the mountain, this was a killer. It was a stairmaster of note. Anyway, I'm up. Rebecca's taking a halfway break down at the bottom down there, and I hope she actually makes it up. She's looking good so far. It's a hell of a climb. Beautiful view up here. You can see the little bay down below. Where we're anchored is just around the corner to the left.
Jacob's Ladder is a rung of 699 steps straight up from Jamestown in the floor of the valley to the fort at Ladder Hill on the western valley slope. It's one of the 7 wonders of St. Helena, and one of the first things you see when you're arriving into James Bay. Having been at sea for so long, it was quite the challenge, especially for me. We saw it here first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yay!
I'm at the top of Jacob's Ladder now. It was breezy and cool, and definitely worth the walk up. We could see the reefs and the anchorage. We could see the trails on the hillside that people use to walk between the villages. And we could even see the beautiful anchorage and the beautiful blue water, that everything from lobsters to whale sharks to all kinds of great wildlife roamed the anchorage, and we were even able to dive with whale sharks at one point, right there in the anchorage, right between the boats. It was very cool. St Helena is really, really gorgeous, and should be on everybody's list to go. Every night the sun went down. It was a beautiful, beautiful cocktail hour every night, although we rarely shared it together, unfortunately. Michael often took out his fishing rod and went fishing over the side to try to catch us some dinner, and usually I was ashore with other cruising friends to just enjoy my time ashore. We took a lot of walks in these hills, both together and separately, and we watched a lot of suns go down. We walked around the town a lot, dined at the restaurants that were there, met a lot of new friends, both who lived on St Helena from South Africa, or pure saints that were born right there and had always lived there, or had worked on Ascension and had retired there. Also met a lot of other cruisers too. Soon we learned that we could get a COVID shot, a COVID vaccine, and there was nothing I wanted more than that, for obvious reasons. So this became a real focus for me. We did time our departure to Ascension to retrieve our second vaccine in Ascension, which of course I had 100% arranged before departing St Helena to Ascension. We had our fights, we had our almost breakups, we had way too much drama. When I started cruising full-time over 14 years ago now, I always imagined that cruising couples started out in loving relationships and marriages. But now I realize that that may not always be the case. There are many marriages that are very much on the rocks before ever leaving the dock, and that many ocean passages and anchorages are less than 100% at any given time. Many couples out here full-time cruising around bumpy passages and in unsettled anchorage at the best of times. If you remember nothing else, keep your partner and your boat safe at all times, no matter what the status of your relationship is. I'm so proud of both Michael and myself for never giving up on this very important task. It was a shame that it couldn't have been a more joyful place to be for both of us, but at least we got to see it. It's one of those islands that you can just never go back to very easily, so we are both really glad that we stopped here and did our best to enjoy our time here.
I've just received my COVID vaccination. So Rebecca and I have been here for a week or two. We heard that it was possible that if they had excess vaccines, one could go in and get one. So I've just done that. Rebecca got hers, I think, yesterday, and successful. So I've got the AstraZeneca shot, and within 12 weeks I need to get a second one. Don't know whether that's going to happen over here or anywhere else, but it's a good feeling. Very old school phone booth, and I'm going to go down and have a beer. Fantastic news.
Everything is so well kept in St Helena, so clean. The flowers are blooming, there's no trash in the street. Everybody's friendly, everybody's honest. Really a pleasure to visit St Helena. The old English architecture, old English history, really. Quite a history set behind this island. But of course, Rebecca, having had her vaccine yesterday, is seen here on the park bench, sick as a dog, hoping that it will be over soon. Time flew. It was pretty soon that it was time to get out of there, and cleaning the hull became a priority. Our next stop would be Ascension. We both couldn't wait till Grenada, but we had to see Ascension first. We already had our visas, and we were to get our second shots in Ascension, and it got us another 5 or 6 days closer to the end, and 5 or 6 days into our wait to get our second shot. Both of us really wanted that second injection. So again, we set off, determined to make the relationship, make the sail, make the trip to Ascension work, so we could get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And what would be in store for us both. We, of course, were both hoping for the best, hoping that something would change, hoping that we'd come see eye to eye and get across and live happily ever after, but things were not looking very good at this point. But we carried on. Michael, unbelievably, doing what he promised to do to get me across an ocean, and, well, I don't know what I promised, but I certainly didn't come through on much of it. Nearly a month, we sailed to Ascension. On both St Helena, Ascension, and probably far-reaching into the cruising community, I probably became well known for being a bit of a hardcore bitch, unsensitive, demanding, and unreasonable towards Michael. I felt I was simply taking care of my boat. I felt I was doing everything I could do to make sure that I'd get across the Atlantic Ocean, that the boat would get across the Atlantic Ocean, and we would both be safe in the process. At this point, we still had 3,100 miles to go to Grenada. There were so many wonderful stops we could have made along the way, but I just couldn't do it. Michael says he never would have left me, no matter how or what I did, but I felt so strongly that I would eventually drive him away anyway. So I elected for a straight sail to Grenada after Ascension, not risk being left alone in Brazil or some other less than ideal location. To me, Grenada represents a less stressful, closer to home. I'd be okay there alone. I'd be able to breathe there. I'd be able to relax a little bit. I think and hope that after this episode I can spare you of all this mushy relationship stuff and get back to more sailing. But this crossing represents a huge chapter in my life, leaving Patrick behind with COVID-19 in South Africa and figuring out my next chapter with a new captain on board Brickhouse. I hope you'll subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, become a Patreon, or visit any of the links below in the description. Appreciate you watching, appreciate you caring about seeing a video. I've gotten so many emails wondering if I've dropped off the side of the earth. I promised to try to do a video a little bit sooner, and Michael's working on becoming good at these videos, and he has some unbelievable footage of the places we've been to already and places we are now. So please stay subscribed. Get subscribed if you're not already. Give me a thumbs up. Share with your cruising friends. Really appreciate your support, and thanks so much, everybody.